Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to a deep dive that's so festive, it practically comes with a side of eggnog.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Is it even the holiday season if we're not bombarded with at least 3 new Christmas albums from pop stars?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kimi Duke, and I'm ready to deck the halls with some musical knowledge, diving deep into the story behind one particular Christmas album that's become a modern classic.
Yeah, I'm Kimi, and I'm already feeling that holiday cheer, especially since we're unwrapping the story behind Meghan Trainor's A Very Trainor Christmas, a deep dive that goes beyond the sugar plums and reindeer to uncover the fascinating journey of this album.
What's really intriguing is that Meghan's Christmas story actually started way before this album, like a musical stocking stuffer, hinting at the full-blown festive feast to come.
Oh, you're totally right. It's like finding an old Christmas card tucked away in a box of decorations and realizing it foreshadowed a whole era of holiday decor. But in this case, it's music. So remind me, what were those early hints that Meghan had a holiday album brewing in her heart?
Well, you have to remember that this was before her mega hit, All About That Bass, even hit the airwaves back in 2014. She actually contributed an original song called I'll Be Home to a holiday EP. And then a few years later, in 2016, she teamed up with country star Brett Eldredge for a duet of the classic Baby It's Cold Outside. So her love for Christmas music was definitely there simmering beneath the surface.
That's so cool. It's like those early songs were little ornaments hanging on the tree of her career, just waiting for the right moment to shine. And speaking of the right moment, wasn't there something unexpected that really kicked off the creation of this particular album? I feel like there's a story here involving sweatpants, Zoom calls, and maybe a global pandemic.
You are picking up what I'm putting down. You know how everything kind of went topsy-turvy in 2020 with the pandemic. Well, Meghan found herself in the same boat as many of you, stuck at home with a lot of time on her hands and a longing for something joyful amidst all the uncertainty. In fact, she was quoted as saying, "We're going to be here for a minute. Let's do the album now while we're stuck at home and not traveling."
Wow, talk about finding the silver lining in a snowstorm. It's amazing how something as challenging as the pandemic could actually lead to the creation of something as heartwarming as a Christmas album. It really speaks to the power of music to uplift and connect us, especially during tough times. But there's another ingredient in this musical recipe that makes it even more special, right? Something about family being at the heart of it all.
Absolutely. This wasn't just your typical studio production. It was a full-on Trainor family Christmas extravaganza. Imagine a recording studio filled with not just microphones and instruments, but also Meghan's brothers, her dad, and even her cousins, all lending their voices and holiday cheer to the projects. Like, she took the concept of a family Christmas gathering and turned it into a musical masterpiece.
I love that it's like those cheesy family Christmas photos, but with a soundtrack and so much more talent. Okay, so we've got Meghan's early Christmas flirtations, a pandemic-induced inspiration, and a whole family choir situation going on. What else should we know about the making of this album? Was there anything else that made it unique?
Oh, there's one more thing. Remember we were talking about those inevitable pop star Christmas albums? Well, Meghan took that concept and sprinkled it with some legendary stardust.
Wait, legendary stardust? Are we talking Mariah Carey levels of festive fabulousness? Spill the tea?
Not quite Mariah, but definitely icons in their own right. Meghan managed to snag collaborations with Earth, Wind and Fire and Seth MacFarlane, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. And the best part is it wasn't just some calculated move to boost album sales. These artists have a genuine connection to the Trainor family. They've been longtime favorites, so it was like a dream come true for Meghan to work with them.
That's incredible. It makes the whole album feel even more special, like it's infused with this genuine love and admiration for music that spanned generations. It's giving me warm and fuzzy feelings already, and we haven't even talked about the music itself.
Yeah.
So let's get to the good stuff. What kind of sonic treats did Meghan cook up for this Christmas feast? I know they're original songs, but I'm guessing she also sprinkled in some classics, right?
You're absolutely right. It's like a perfectly balanced Christmas dinner. You've got your traditional turkey and stuffing, but then you've also got some unexpected side dishes that add a modern twist to the classics. A Very Trainor Christmas is this delightful blend of both, with original songs like My Kind of Present and I Believe in Santa that showcase her signature pop sound, while also paying homage to timeless classics like Last Christmas and Winter Wonderland, bringing that familiar comfort we all crave during the holidays.
I love that she went for that balance because, let's be honest, some Christmas albums can get a little too predictable, but it sounds like she found a way to keep things fresh while still honoring the spirit of the season. But I'm curious, when it comes to those classic covers, did she stick to the traditional arrangements or did she add a little Trainor twist to them?
That's where things get really interesting. While she definitely stays true to the heart of those beloved carols, she injects her own personality into them, like adding a sprinkle of cinnamon to your hot chocolate, for example. Her version of Last Christmas has this really cool 80s synth vibe with a prominent clap track that gives it a modern edge while still keeping that nostalgic feel.
Ooh, I love that. It's like taking a vintage Christmas ornament and giving it a little makeover to fit your modern tree. But tell me more, were there any other covers that got the trainer treatment? I'm dying to know what kind of sonic surprises she has in store.
Welcome back to our deep dive into a very Trainer Christmas. We left off talking about Meghan's knack for adding her own flair to classic covers. So let's unwrap a few more of those musical presents and see what surprises she has in store for us.
Perfect. You know how much I love a good musical makeover, especially when it comes to those holiday tunes we've heard a million times. But before we dive into the classics, I'm really curious about those original songs. What kind of vibe do they have? What stories are they telling? And could they stand on their own as hits outside of the Christmas context?
All right, let's start with My Kind of Present, which is pure Meghan Trainor goodness, with that infectious doo-wop sound that makes you want to grab a partner and swing dance around the Christmas tree. The lyrics are all about finding joy in the simple things, with Meghan proclaiming that her loved one is all the gift she needs, which is a pretty sweet sentiment, especially during a season that can get a little too focused on material things, wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's like a reminder that the best gifts don't come wrapped in shiny paper. They come in the form of love and connection. And speaking of sweet sentiments, I have to ask about, I believe in Santa. I mean, who doesn't love a good Santa Claus anthem? It's like the musical equivalent of a warm glass of milk and cookies left out for the big guy.
This one actually has a really cute backstory. Meghan has said that she wrote it based on a childhood memory of arguing with her friends about whether Santa was real when she was just 10 years old. Can you imagine little Meghan all fired up defending Santa's existence with all her might? It just shows how much Christmas spirit she's always had, even as a kid.
I love that it's like a glimpse into the origins of her holiday obsession. And speaking of origins, let's
Yeah.
talk about those legendary collaborations. What's the story behind those features?
Yeah.
It's not every day you get to work with musical icons like Earth, Wind& Fire and Seth MacFarlane, especially on a Christmas album.
Well, imagine growing up with Earth, Wind, and Fire as a constant presence on your family's playlist, their music filling your home during holidays and special occasions, and then fast forward to you as a successful musician, getting the opportunity to collaborate with them. It's like a full circle moment, and the track they feature on holidays is a perfect example of that old meets new concept we were discussing earlier. It seamlessly blends classic 70s R&B with modern pop elements, creating a sound that's both familiar and fresh, like a vintage record player hooked up to a state-of-the-art sound system.
That's incredible. It's like taking a musical time machine back to the disco era and bringing a little bit of that groove into the present. And then there's Seth MacFarlane, the king of smooth vocals and, of course, the creator of Family Guy. Did you ever think you'd hear him crooning Christmas tunes with Meghan Trainor? It's not exactly a pairing you'd expect, but hey, that's what makes it so interesting, right?
Yeah, right. Their duet on White Christmas is a must listen, and it wasn't just a hidden gem on the album. It was actually released as a single and even topped the adult contemporary chart, proving that their unique blend of voices resonated with listeners who knew Stewie Griffin and the Queen of Pop could create such holiday magic together.
That's amazing. It just goes to show that the holidays can bring together the most unexpected musical pairings, and sometimes those unexpected collaborations create pure gold. Now, let's get back to those classic covers you mentioned that Meghan adds her own flair to them, giving them a little trainer makeover. Can you give us a few more examples of how she reimagines those familiar tunes? I'm picturing a musical workshop with jingle bells and synthesizers flying everywhere.
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about the 80s synths and that infectious clap track in Last Christmas? Well, contrast that with her rendition of Winter Wonderland, which is stripped down almost lullaby-like, with just a ukulele accompaniment, proving that she can take the same song and give it completely different feels depending on her approach. It's like she's a musical chameleon adapting her style to fit the mood of each song.
It's like she's painting with sound, using different textures and colors to create a whole new landscape within these well-known songs, which is pretty impressive when you think about how familiar these melodies are to us. It's like taking a classic black and white film and colorizing it. You still recognize the story, but it feels fresh and new. Were there any other covers that got this musical and makeover treatment?
Oh, there's more. Her take on Sleigh Ride, for example, has been described by critics as 60s meets 2020, like she took a time machine back to the era of girl groups and brought a little bit of that retro charm into the present day. It's like those vintage Christmas decorations that are suddenly back in style. They're classic, but they also feel modern and trendy.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. I need to hear this for myself. This deep dive has really highlighted the depth and creativity behind A Very Trainor Christmas, going beyond just the surface level of holiday cheer to uncover the thought and artistry that went into its creation.
It really has, but before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, let's not forget about the involvement of Meghan's family, which adds such a special layer of warmth and authenticity to the album. It's like that feeling of gathering around the fireplace with your loved ones, sharing stories and laughter. It's what makes the holidays so special.
You're so right. We haven't even touched on her collaboration with her father, Gary Trainor, who lends his vocals to Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. It's like a beautiful father-daughter duet, adding a touch of intergenerational harmony to the album.
Exactly. And let's not forget her cousins, Jade and Jenna and Marcus Tony, who join her on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It just shows how much this album was a true family affair, with everyone contributing their talents and holiday spirit. It's like they invited the whole neighborhood over for a Christmas Carol sing-along, heartwarming and full of joy.
It's a beautiful reminder of the power of family during the holidays, and it brings a whole new level of meaning to the album, wouldn't you say? It's like we're getting a glimpse into their family traditions and sharing in their holiday spirit through the music.
Absolutely. A Very Trainor Christmas is clearly more than just a collection of songs. It's a testament to the joy of togetherness and the magic of making music with loved ones. It's about creating new memories while cherishing old traditions, which is something we can all relate to, especially during this time of year.
Couldn't agree more now, as much as I'd love to keep gushing about every single track and family anecdote. I know we have more ground to cover in our final part of this deep dive. There's still so much to explore, like the album's reception, its impact on Meghan's career, and its place in the ever-expanding universe of holiday music.
We do so. Grab another cup of hot cocoa, settle in by the fireplace, and join us in part 3 as we wrap up our festive exploration of A Very Trainor Christmas.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into A Very Trainor Christmas. We've unwrapped the backstory, explored the unique collaborations, and dissected that clever mix of original songs and reimagined classics. But now it's time to step back and consider the bigger picture. What kind of impact did this album have both on Meghan's career and on the landscape of holiday music itself? Yeah, that's a great question. It's like after you've enjoyed a delicious Christmas dinner, you start to think about the recipe, the ingredients, and the chef who brought it all together. In this case, Meghan clearly poured her heart and soul into this project. So I'm curious to know how it was received by the world. Did critics embrace her festive vision, or were they a bit more like the Grinch, trying to steal her Christmas thunder?
Well, you know how music critics can be? Sometimes they have a reputation for being a little bit Scrooge-like, especially when it comes to holiday albums, which often get dismissed as predictable or cheesy. But with A Very Trainor Christmas, there was a general sense of warmth and appreciation, like a cozy fire on a snowy night. Many critics praised Meghan's infectious energy and her ability to bring a fresh perspective to well-worn holiday themes, proving that even the most familiar carols can be reinvented with a little bit of creativity and a lot of heart.
It sounds like she managed to strike that delicate balance between tradition and innovation, which isn't always easy to do. It's like decorating your Christmas tree with both vintage ornaments from your grandma's attic and those trendy new ones you found at the craft store. You're honoring the past while also embracing the present. Do you remember any specific comments from critics that stood out to you? Any lines that really captured the essence of the album's impact? One critic called the album a resounding success, predicting that it would become a go-to Christmas soundtrack for families in the years to come, which is high praise indeed. Others highlighted the album's exuberance and the way it caters to a wide range of musical tastes, ensuring that there's something for everybody, like a Christmas buffet with dishes to satisfy every palate.
That's fantastic. It sounds like she really hit the mark with this album, creating something that appealed to both the discerning ears of critics and the hearts of everyday listeners. But critical acclaim is one thing. What about commercial success? Did the album resonate with listeners beyond the reviews? Did it climb the charts and become a holiday staple? It definitely did. Remember how it peaked at number 7 on the U.S. Top Holiday Albums chart? Well, it also achieved notable success internationally, charting in countries like the Netherlands, Sweden, and even Belgium, suggesting that Meghan's Christmas magic transcended borders and connected with audiences worldwide. It's like her music traveled around the globe on Santa's sleigh, spreading holiday cheer to every corner of the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's proof that good music, especially holiday music, has the power to unite people across cultures and continents, like a universal language that everyone understands. But amidst all this positive reception, were there any dissenting voices? Were there any critiques that pointed out areas where the album could have been stronger? Those critics who are always looking for a lump of coal in their stocking.
While the overall response was overwhelmingly positive, there were a few critics who felt that the album lacked a certain something like a Christmas cookie that's missing a sprinkle or two. One mentioned that it didn't have enough well-crafted classics to truly set it apart from the countless other holiday albums out there, while another pointed out that the back and forth between familiar and less familiar songs might have disrupted the album's momentum, preventing it from reaching its full festive potential.
Interesting. It's always valuable to consider different perspectives, even when they're not overwhelmingly positive. It reminds us that art is subjective, and what resonates with one person might not have the same impact on another. It's like how some people prefer their eggnog thick and creamy, while others like it light and frothy. It's all a matter of taste.
Absolutely, and it's important to remember that even with a few critiques, A Very Trainor Christmas was still a remarkable achievement. It showcased Meghan's versatility as an artist, her genuine love for the holiday season, and her ability to create music that brings people together like a warm hug on a cold winter's night.
You put it beautifully, isn't it? So that as we wrap up this deep dive into A Very Trainor Christmas, I'm left with a sense of warmth and appreciation for what Meghan accomplished with this album. It's more than just a collection of songs. It's a testament to the enduring power of holiday music, to evoke joy, nostalgia, and a sense of connection, reminding us of the magic that this time of year holds. And it's a reminder that traditions can be both cherished and reimagined, finding new life through each generation, like passing down a beloved family recipe, but adding your own personal touch to it.
Couldn't have said it better myself, and who knows, maybe this album will inspire a whole new wave of holiday music, blending those timeless melodies with fresh modern sounds, creating a soundtrack for future generations to enjoy. It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that concludes our deep dive into Meghan Trainor's A Very Trainor Christmas. We hope you enjoyed this festive journey and maybe even discovered a new holiday favorite along the way. From us to happy holidays, and may your season be filled with music, joy, and lots of love.